It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
I guess it's me. I guess it's my show today. It's Ermanni and Edwards and me, Maz. Tom Mazawey here on Woodward Sports Network. My guys are very high maintenance. Ryan is trying to get his headphones to work. He doesn't want to touch anyone else's headphones. He's a germaphobe. I just want to tell you that. Braylon is finishing his Coney breakfast, his Coney lunch. Thank you to Scotty G.
What a snitch.
Our man Scotty G from the old Woodward Bet Show is in here at lunch today for all of us. We miss you, Scotty. We miss you, Beer Man. But, yeah, it's Maz. It's just you and me. I got breaking news for you guys.
What?
Lamar Jackson is going to be a Detroit Lion.
Oh, get out of here.
I'm only kidding.
Stop.
Yeah, okay,
I am only kidding.
Okay.
Clown emoji.
Clown emoji. Swing the cameras to my two clown
Swing
brothers right now. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards.
Swing it.
Take it back, will
Sing
you?
it.
So
Take
here's the deal.
show.
Ryan Ermanni, get the show started.
I am very high maintenance.
You are.
There are things that are important to me, and if I have something a little off, I can't do a show.
This is true.
It's just the way it is. I'll be honest with you. So my earpiece broke about 10 minutes ago. This is, we call this in the business an IFB. I wear the IFB. I can hear my voice. I can hear the music. I can hear the sound. This is molded to my ear.
Right.
I've had it for years. Got it from Fox 2. The mold fell off or fell apart from the cord, and it's very upsetting to me.
Yeah.
I spent the last 10 minutes trying to fix it. I cannot. I was unsuccessful. Braylon says, why don't you just wear another pair of headphones over there?
Maz said
Oh, is that Maz?
That was
See,
Maz.
I'm already
That was
discombobulated.
I said wipe one down and use it.
I can't.
And you went, ew.
I said there's no way I
Ew.
can put somebody else's
earwax.
earwax in mine.
Let me tell you something about my ears. The cleanest ears on the east side of Detroit. That's all I got to
You
tell
have clean ears?
Clean as can be.
Do you use
I believe-
Q-tips
I-
after
I- I
showers
believe
and stuff
Maz.
like
I
that?
believe Maz.
Yeah, I use Q-tips. And I know you're not supposed to push the wax in, but I have very little wax to push in because I keep them clean.
So JB said, hey, Ryan. Hey, Ryan.
He's so mad about this earpiece.
He says, do you want to use these? And he pulled out these purple headphones. Look at these things.
That
Can
have been used by 150 people.
But JB gave them to me.
So you feel better.
And I wiped him down, and I said, okay, here we go. I'm going to go Mike Francesa style. And I can even put both of them in. I got the blue shirt on, so you can barely see the cord. I try to keep it clean over here a little bit. And now we're ready to go. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Now you can look like me for 2 hours with your earpiece falling out.
I thought you were getting new ones from like 17 months ago.
Ryan gave me.
I gave him the mold kit. I gave him the mold kit.
Let me explain this to you. I begged Ryan to give me the mold kit. It took him a year plus. He gives me the mold kit. I've had it for a year plus. Because it's a process. Like, you basically got to take it, you got to make it, you got to let it sit, and then you got to send it back in for them to send back to you.
Yeah, it's a process.
I would say that.
I don't want, so I'm not, right, this is about Ryan being high maintenance, but once again, my old job where I made good money, like, they would mold everything.
You don't make good money here, Bray? Come on.
Difference in what sports check and NFL check, very different.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm saying, like, in the NFL, they would send it in and take care of it all. I just had to do the molding part. So I'm high maintenance too, if you will.
Braylon, the good news on the mold is if you do it one time,
right,
they will forever have your ear mold.
So you can, like, right now, you can just call them and they'll send another one.
Yes.
Right.
And that's what's going to happen tomorrow.
Why don't you just get a couple sent and you keep a couple?
Well, I have another one at my desk at Fox 2,
okay.
so that is very good. But it's amazing how little things can just throw us off.
It is.
Right? I mean, I'm a very routine-oriented guy.
Like we had Matt start the show for the first time ever because your earpiece messed up.
I thought I did a pretty damn
You did
No, you
very
did.
good.
Dynamite.
Nez. Very good.
Dynamite.
Unbelievable. So, yeah, we are going to have a little bit of fun today, no doubt about it. It is Tuesday, March 28th. This month has flown by the way. Tigers open up the regular season in Tampa this week. I mean, you blink and the regular season starts. Home opener is next week. There's a lot of, I think, excitement just to get out of the doldrums of winter and into spring, and we'll see what the Tigers have or don't have. But Final Four is this weekend. I mean, there's a lot going on.
Where are you going to be for opening day, by the way? You.
Speaking.
On the field.
That's nice.
Oh, in Tampa?
Yeah, no, I mean,
home
for
opener?
the real, yeah.
I do the whole
That's nice.
I do the 6 a.m. to
don't get sick of that,
11
do you?
a.m. Oh, God, it's my
No.
favorite day of the year.
That's great.
Favorite day of the
It
year.
is.
Speaking of Final
Sorry,
Four,
bud.
you ready for me to talk about
Oh,
one?
I don't want to hear your crap.
Oh, God.
Why not?
He's going to try to sell this crap to
Listen
us.
to what Braylon did to us on the text.
Go ahead. ahead.
I almost was like, okay, I'll come at 2:15. Show starts at 2:15.
Go ahead, try it
Go
again.
ahead, do what you got to do today,
Sell
Braylon.
us. Go ahead.
Do what you got to do. I'll see you at 2:15, gang.
Listen, why don't you guys want to believe that NCAA women's basketball is now bigger than men's?
2:15, I'll see you.
I'm being honest. Why can't you not realize that women's is now bigger than men's? It's bigger than men's. I was doing some research. Do you know that the Georgia-Iowa game was 1.5 million viewers? The average man viewership is 950,000. They're winning the race. Juwan Howard makes $2.2 million. Dawn Staley makes 3.3. They're winning the race.
You're still looking at me. I came back to listen to what he had to say at least.
Okay, hold on now. All those
The
numbers.
number one NIL deal involving a man or a woman basketball player is not a man's basketball player. It's a woman's. It's Paige Beckers from UConn. They're winning the race.
How much money is Paige Beckers making? Is that her name?
Yeah, Paige Beckers.
What's she make?
She's got her own shoe.
Really?
She got 2.1 mil.
Get out of here.
That was after her first year when she got hurt. She's been hurt the last 2 years and still makes 2.1 million, 3 million.
Wow.
They're
Okay.
winning the race.
In whose house? Not in my house.
It's ratings. It's ratings. It's just like you said, the NFL is winning the race over the other four sports. You're like, not in my house. I'm a hockey guy. Well, we're not talking about you. We're talking about.
Here's what I give you. Can I?
You don't know anybody in college basketball named men's side before that Kansas State game, not that went to Michigan State, but you know who Caitlin Clark was because I told you about last year.
Here's what I'll give you about NIL and women's versus men's. There is Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers will do more for women's basketball than any man will do for college basketball. Right?
I'm trying to tell you.
That's a fact.
That is a fact. I mean, every girl that plays
It's like Steph.
high school basketball, grade school basketball, middle school basketball, elementary school basketball knows who these two women are.
Let me say this.
I will say this.
Women's basketball.
Yes.
I've been on the women's basketball train
He's been on sports period.
for a long time.
Yes.
I always watch the Final Four. And I don't watch.
You watch the women's Final Four?
I do.
Wow.
And I like what they've done. As the years have progressed, they play quarters now in women's basketball, which I like. I love the UConn team. You gotta like Tennessee.
They lost Ariama,
I know.
Yeah, Gino Ariama,
Yeah, I mean, and Caitlin
I don't even watch the
Beckers.
men's Final Four,
Caitlin
let alone
Clark.
the
Caitlin
women's
Clark from
Final Four.
Iowa.
is amazing.
She literally had the first 40-point triple-double in NCAA
she's
tournament. And
amazing.
I'm not talking about women's tournament, men
Yeah.
too. No man has ever got a 40-point
Right now,
triple-double.
as it sits,
Yeah.
you've got us.
I'm good then.
You've got us.
I'm good
This
then.
year, you've got us.
And I'll stop while I'm ahead. I quit. The one thing I will say about Caitlin Clark, I always get the show.
She's
started.
in Iowa,
I know.
right?
I know our
Yes.
Lions fans are like, "What the
Iowa.
hell is this?" The one thing I will say about Caitlin Clark is I heard this when they were talking about most, influential basketball players, and they were talking about the two most influential basketball players. They said Michael Jordan and Steph. And so the people they were talking to was like, well, what about LeBron or what about Kobe? What about this person? They said, if you look at what Steph has done, he's arguably more influential than Jordan. I mean, he can never say that. But he said, you know why? Because anybody can be Steph Curry. Anybody can be 6'3" and shoot from half court and learn and practice those skills from age 7 till however old he is now, 33, I believe. Same with Caitlin Clark. Like, everybody can't be Candace Parker and Lisa Leslie and be 6'6". But all these girls out here, they can practice the same thing that Steph is practicing. So I think Steph influenced her. and she's influencing the whole generation.
Brittany on the chat said men's tickets right now, Final Four, and they are plummeting the prices. She says you can get in for $75. Women's, you can't get in for under $300.
Wow.
Thank you.
That is incredible.
As we
Brittany
speak
on the
right
chat.
now. As we speak.
That's what I'm talking about.
A Diz 411, Detroit shocked back in the early 2000s. Let me tell you something.
Oh my God.
Let me say this about that.
Deanna Nolan?
I don't know if you're probably not going to believe me, but I tell anybody who asks me with this, and I have been asked this before in the past, and it's, what's the loudest arena you've ever been in? It was one of the first events I've ever covered at Fox 2, 2003.
Yeah.
The Detroit Shock against the LA Sparks. It was I'm trying to put it in perspective.
Right way.
It was the loudest building I had ever been in that was around 20,000 people.
Got you.
Obviously baseball stadium, 60,000, whatever, or, the Fenway Park in 2013, that was really loud.
Yeah.
I've been to the Super Bowl, but...
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not kidding you.
Oh, how could that happen?
It was one of the loudest.
Indoors.
It was one of the and a lot of women in just maybe it's the sound of their voices like that carried or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was one of the loudest buildings I had ever been in my life.
I know you
2003
By the way,
Palace.
last week,
Shock.
Brady just bought into the Vegas Aces.
Yep.
In the WNBA.
I'm telling you, listen, Kobe was on this wave. Rest in peace to the mama. Kobe was on this wave in terms of where he was going to transition women's basketball too. He was helping out with a lot of those young players. I think his daughter was going to be the beacon that they wanted, if you will. It was going in the right direction. This isn't something that's just starting. Like, he knew something back then, and I think it lost a little bit of momentum, but it's something to it. College, at least.
Maz, let's see here. I don't know. Whatever. Somebody on the chat says there is no screaming like little girls screaming. You should know that. You got 3 of them. I mean, they can get loud.
I'll tell you what the loudest thing is. Go to a volleyball tournament.
Yeah.
You will leave there like in a body bag.
Ringing.
In a body bag.
Your ears are ringing. Yeah. No doubt. Incredible stuff. Guys, we're going to take a break. We're going to get to some NFL talk, some Detroit Lions talk. Because
how do the Lions always do this to us?
They are finding themselves in the news again. Dan Campbell comments on Lamar Jackson to Detroit. He comments on Calais Campbell to Detroit. Is one of those guys here? Both of them or none of them? You might be surprised. But first, the message from Fairway Packing Company. This is what I'm having tomorrow, actually.
Oh, man.
Fairway Packing. I'm looking forward to the Wednesday
night dinner. Is there an invite
dinner
somewhere?
I was actually invited.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they are.
Did they give you a +1?
They are getting a Fairway dinner.
+1.
Looking for a way to elevate yours? Fairway Packing Company. Family owned and operated since 1956. Try their burrata blend burgers, the award-winning chop house steaks, or impress your friends with a dry-aged Wagyu tomahawk steak. See well, the top chefs in the country choose Fairway. You can visit their steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods on Mack Avenue. You can order online. They ship anywhere. Fairwaypacking.com. Fairwaypacking.com. Sourced, cut, aged, packed to perfection.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Hey, welcome Welcome back on a Tuesday. It is Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. If you're listening audio only on the app, however you're doing it, we certainly appreciate it. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. We'd certainly appreciate that. Maybe give us a 5-star review, even if you hate our takes. But like to hate our takes, go for it.
At least they're factually based.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Clown emoji.
Clown emoji. Guys, I hesitated to even mention his name today, but I can't not because Dan Campbell talked about him. Dan Campbell told Tom Pelissero that Goff is our guy. We are out on Lamar. Also admits they are in on the Calais Campbell news. That's from Tom Pelissero. I do have an article, Braylon, from Dave Burkett. Dave Burkett of the Detroit Free Press. I'm going to read it to you a little bit here. You see the tweet on the screen as well if you are watching the show. This is Dave Burkett, Freep.com, from Dan Campbell. Quote, yeah, look, Lamar's a heck of a talent. Trying to defend that guy has been something else. We played them 2 years ago, but, man, we got a quarterback. So I'm like, we got a quarterback, and thank God we got a good one. And so we're good. But, man, he's a heck of a talent. The Detroit Lions are out on Lamar Jackson. Before we get into that, one more quote. Asked Tuesday if the Lions will consider taking a quarterback in the first round, given the likelihood that they won't be drafting this high again anytime soon, Campbell left the door open to that possibility. Quote, I would say this, man. This year, as with most, you're always looking to upgrade, and free agency has always given us the ability in areas we can do whatever we need to do in the draft. We feel pretty good about that. We don't feel forced to do anything. You got to take this or you got to take that. And so with that, I would say, man, it doesn't matter what the position is. If we can upgrade our team top to bottom, we will do that. So basically, let me sum it up for you. Out on Lamar Jackson, man. In on the possibility, man, of drafting a quarterback in the first round.
Definitely in on that possibility. You know, one thing about it is, I mean, it's picking up traction. I even heard my own former teammate, Bart Scott, who we've had on the show. He was on ESPN talking about why it would make sense for Lamar Jackson. And upon doing so, I mean, he really eloquated the Lions situation. He eloquated the team, talked about who was on the team. He did it very well. And Bart's not somebody that typically is really good at all the players' names. He knew every player name on the Detroit Lions. So that, once again, Lions, you are tracking nationally. But I just think, they're out on that. But what they're leaving the door open to is, you see a name that's coming up a lot lately. You've been on him for 2 years. You even got Fletch to come around on this guy. Now his name is starting to come up, starting to see him slide into that first round. That's Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker's name. That's why you see an individual like Dan Campbell talk about it. He's been very transparent. He talked about the Lions. It was going to be a 3-year rebuild. Well, here we are in year 3. He talked like he's very honest about situations. He's basically telling you, look, Lamar's amazing talent. But we can't bring him here. We can't mess up the foundation that we built. Like, we got things financially and put in the right space that would mess it up. But what they can do is you can draft a quarterback in that first round. Everyone talks about, the Lions trading back because you know what? Hey, if the best player at your position or at that position is not that good of a pick, or you don't feel like being forced to draft somebody at 6 or even 18, well, you can move back. Hendon Hooker is a guy whose name has gone from being in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round to now even being mentioned high up as the 5th pick to the Seattle Seahawks, as you see right here.
Mike Tannenbaum put out his first mock draft. Former general manager of the Jets and Dolphins, your former general manager, put out his first mock draft. Well, we can get to that now, or we can get to it later.
We don't have to get to that now, but just more so.
He did have Hendon Hooker 5 overall.
We'll dive into that later, more so just bring up as a reference point. But I don't think Hendon Hooker's going that high. But I definitely could see him going somewhere in the first round, a team looking to get a guy, first-round quarterback. And, Ryan, as you so always like to bring up, the 5th-year option. So I think that is a move for the Detroit Lions to move back. Somehow, the mad scientist, Brad Holmes, he can work that out and maybe draft Hendon Hooker. And they say he may not even be in the 20s, but maybe trade back, or maybe at 18. Maybe that's the pick at 18.
Hey, what I took out of all the columns, and everyone has written about this, because everyone's talking to Dan Campbell right now, because that's where the head coaches are, the general managers. Going to be the owners' meetings coming up here pretty soon. But he said the words, Jared Goff's our guy. So I guess Jared Goff's our guy. All right, so we're going to ride and die with number 16. Jared Goff is the Lions quarterback. Had a great year last year. I hope he has another great year this year. But the door is open for them to draft somebody somewhere in this draft because they have not done that in a long, long time.
Can I just say this about the Lamar Jackson stuff, too? I mean, I'm fine with it, not pursuing him. But I did think it was worth the Lions and every other team to really take a serious look at it. I go back to what Schefter said yesterday on ESPN, talking about how the greatest advantage you can have in the NFL today is to have a good quarterback on a rookie deal. That's the greatest advantage you can have over any team in the league. That's how you go about it. And if you're the Lions, are you going to give up a bunch of picks and pay the guy $50 million a year? If that's not something you think you're willing to do right now, I'm fine with it. And I think seeing Lamar Jackson pop up as a free agent or as a potential trade target too opened my eyes to a couple of things. And maybe I'm going to revisit this. I have maintained all along, and at my core, I do believe the Detroit Lions need to pick a quarterback in the first round. Not the second, not the third, not the fourth. In the first round, pick a quarterback. But I'm going to move off that slightly because in the last few years alone, we have seen Tom Brady move teams, Matthew Stafford move teams, Russell Wilson move teams, Aaron Rodgers potentially move teams, and now Lamar Jackson potentially move teams. That's just the last 4 or 5 years alone. It is not just you can't get a quarterback when you need to get a quarterback. It seems like these guys are Derek Carr. It seems like these guys are coming up every single year. Now, do I want to take a chance with having the right quarterback at the right time? No. I would much prefer to draft one. But I don't think it's this desperate measure that I once thought it was.
It's so refreshing, my brother, to hear you say that. Like, this is something that this has been coming on since we've been on the show. You know, the first year we started the show was Tom Brady's first year. You know, so it's talking about that's a great way to look at it. You never know what quarterbacks are going to be available, what quarterbacks come up, what quarterbacks are going to be in the draft. And another thing I saw, when you look at the top 8 big deals that have been done in the last 4 or 5 years as it relates to quarterbacks, only 2 of them have panned out. One is Josh Allen, and the other one is to be decided. You look at those big deals, they don't always pan out. You can get the numbers on that. Ryan, that's Kyler Murray's deal. Doesn't like it might pan out for those guys. You look at Deshaun Watson, we'll see. You know, we'll see how that deal pans out. You look at Dak Prescott. Like Dak Prescott made $50 million. And we're asking yourself, can he even be a team that wins a Super Bowl? None of those big deals have worked.
Bray, let's be honest here, too. Jalen Hurts in the second round and Dak Prescott in the fourth. Is there any...
Russell Wilson, second round.
You know, I mean...
And then there's no one else.
Yeah.
You just named 3 guys.
Yeah. Kirk
out
Cousins.
Of the last 20 years.
Kirk Cousins is a $40 million quarterback.
I'm just saying.
It just everybody's like, oh, pick a quarterback in the second round, third round, fourth round. Oh, get your quarterback in the sixth round. Come on, guys.
It's not easy.
No. Look.
Most
at the
good quarterbacks are coming out of the first round.
In the top 15.
Yes.
This is true, but at the end of the day, that's now you're starting to see the side of it where quarterbacks are leaving. Deals are getting shorter. You're starting to see the 3-year deal. You're starting to see the 4-year deal. You're starting to see the quarterback that's not getting drafted and wanting to stay for 12, 15 years and build a home. Hey, look, I'm here for. So you're seeing this happen more and more, and people are moving. As this happens more and more, it's about to just become a regular thing. No quarterback is doing the 10-year deal anymore. No quarterback is doing the 5th-year deal anymore. So it's going to be very interesting to see moving forward. But guys are going to start to come up all the time, and so you don't have to make your bones on saying, well, we won't have another pick in the top 10 for this many years. You won't have to in the years coming forward.
And we still need a backup quarterback. Just as a side note.
But nobody said no to a backup quarterback. I just said draft Hendon Hooker in the first round. What's the problem with that?
You still need a veteran backup. You're not going with Nate Sudfeld.
No, and I think we all agree with that. I mean, you can't go into the season with Nate Sudfeld as your backup. I think all 5 of us in this room right now agree on that, right?
You heard what Mike O'Hara told us.
I've clowned every quarterback the Lions have had since we've been on the show, so yes.
Yeah. Mike O'Hara told us last week the Lions have been waiting, right? There's still Teddy Bridgewater's out there. There's a few guys still out there. But they might be waiting for teams to start dropping a veteran quarterback before the free agent, before the year starts, like when camp starts. There's going to be quarterbacks that are going to be let go maybe that's where the Lions are picking up their veteran. But you can't go in. If you're going in with Nate Sudfeld, you're not. I don't even want to go there.
And Tony on the chat says, pull up a list of the first-round quarterbacks in the last 5 years and tell me how many of them don't pan out. Yes, there's more misses than hits. There are more misses than swings. Yeah. There are more duds than there are studs. But that doesn't mean you don't look around the league and look where the talent is. You've got, if you believe that one of these guys is the guy, you take him. If you don't, you pass on him. You don't just waste a pick because you think this guy can't play, but you have to take a quarterback. Nobody in their right mind does that.
Yeah, I mean, you look at NFC. I mean, you look at I always go back to the Final Four. And the reason why I go to the Final Four, and I ain't talking March Madness, I'm talking about February Madness. I'm talking about because that's where it happens. That's the teams you want to be like. You want to be the teams that are getting there in the Final Four. Look at the teams last year. And this is my point of agreeing with you and Maz. Everybody says you don't know about the first-round quarterbacks. They don't always pan out. I do know that last year, for the most part, in the Final Four, there were 4 quarterbacks. 3 of them were they were first-round draft picks. 3 of them are game-changing quarterbacks. And one should have been a first-round draft pick, but they didn't want to take the chance on him, and that was Jalen Hurts. And then else we're looking at, there was Josh Allen was in that playoffs last year. Joe Burrow was in that playoffs last year. Everybody can't be wrong.
No.
Everybody can't be wrong.
Could have been Tua, but he was hurt.
100% could. Tua made it to the playoffs. So essentially off his, you're 100%, man.
I do want to
There's guys here that really believe
I know.
that you don't even need a veteran backup.
I think they're just all.
I have a guy telling me, but Goff's a veteran.
You're right.
We don't need a veteran backup. What are you talking about?
He's going to be the starter and the backup, huh?
I mean,
if he gets hurt, what do you got?
You put Goff back in there. He's the backup, too.
What are you going to do about it? Guys, I do want to mention a name. Braylon, you talked about this guy in the past.
Randomly.
That's Calais Campbell. I'm going to, okay, we'll do it now. Calais Campbell might be a Detroit Lion. Dan Campbell is interested in Calais Campbell. We could talk about that. We'll do it next. Also, Brad Holmes talked about C.J. Gardner-Johnson and what it took and how that played out this offseason. You'll hear from Brad Holmes. We'll talk about
Bill Belichick's in the news.
Bill Belichick's in the news. Lots to get to on a Tuesday. But first, a message from Cousins Maine Lobster.
Yes, sir. Cousins Maine Lobster brings you the Maine coast right here to Detroit. Try the variety of sweet, succulent Maine lobster and their menu items at their 2 food trucks rolling around the city. You can find the event schedule, of course, on cousinsmainelobster.com. Click on the schedule and download their app so you can keep track and even order ahead and get rewarded for it. Click on that QR code right now, cousinsmainelobster.com.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not 1, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, 1 for you, 1 for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Let one of our talented, award-winning stylists make you look handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
I was just telling these guys, just to put a bow on the Lamar Jackson stuff, at least, not that I need my opinion validated, but to see, all these people on NFL Live on ESPN, say, perfect fit for Lamar Jackson is the Detroit Lions. We know it's not going to happen, but it is a perfect fit. It does make me feel a little bit validated, in my opinion. Not that I need it, but I guess I do need it.
Well, the funny thing about it is, a lot of times, no, it's good though. But a lot of times with fans and people out there, if they don't see what you're saying in a broader spectrum.
Yeah.
If they don't see
Right.
it,
True.
the national pundits say, and it's trust me, I'm a fan to a lot of things too. Sometimes if I don't see people talking about it, I'm like, nah, that's not a good take. You see somebody talking, you're like, well, maybe it does make sense. But now the national people are talking about it, just know Ryan Ermanni said it first.
I don't need ESPN or you or anyone else to tell me that Lamar Jackson is an upgrade on Jared Goff. All right, you'd have to be an idiot to think that Lamar Jackson isn't an upgrade on Jared Goff. But I'll leave that there.
I think that's well said, Maz.
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right about that. You know what else would be an upgrade is Calais Campbell, if he is in fact a member of the Detroit Lions, 36 years old, released by the Ravens. Hell of a player. What he finished with 1 sack, half sack fewer than Aiden Hutchinson last year. I mean, the guy still can play and still can play at a high level. Don't look at his age as a deterrent. Somebody who wants to continue to play football, and Dan Campbell admitted today that they are in on Calais Campbell. He is a player that they're interested in. Braylon Edwards, I know you ran into him a couple of months ago. What was that interaction like, and where do you stand with Calais Campbell to the Detroit Lions?
Calais Campbell, first and foremost, a hell of an individual. He's a great human being. There's a reason when you win the the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, that's the highest honor in the NFL. That's the individual award. He won that in 2019. He's a guy that plays at the highest level, 99 career sacks. He's played in a couple of AFC Championship games, played in the Super Bowl, did not win it. 99 sacks career. Like, he knows how to do it. But when you start adding these pieces together, Ryan Ermanni, Walter Payton, Man of the Year, like everywhere he's gone, like he's left it in a great place. Like he's a popular situation amongst, and even like a Hollywood persona. He does a couple movies here and there. The cool thing about it is I run into him at CBS. I'm in LA. I'm going to see my brother play at the Rose Bowl. Run into him at CBS. He's a hard man to miss. I'll say it like that. You can see him a couple hours over. We'll put it like that. So I walk up to him, Calais, what's going on? How you doing, man? It's like, and the first thing I said, and I felt bad for saying it, I was like, man, you've had a hell of a career. I'm saying it kind of like in the present, but I guess to him, like, this is a situation where he's now left Baltimore. He's thinking, like, people think I still have it. He was like, no, it ain't over yet. He said, I still got a lot left in the tank. It was like, it's like, Lions are doing their thing. They're putting it together. I see y'all making some moves. We'll see when the time is right. I took that as conversation. I took it as BS, and probably was just BS. Mm-hmm. But now to see Dan Campbell saying they have interest, now to see Calais Campbell. I mean, you can't go wrong there. Hope I'm the first one to call him that. I'm just saying. But he's a guy, you talk about getting that veteran. You talk about bringing a guy in, a guy that can teach these young guys, not even just how to play the game, but some tricks of the trade, some of the way to approach the game, and ways to approach film, and ways to approach the nuances of the game. He's seen it over the span of 15 years. I think it will be a hell of a job to bring him in. And nowadays when they offer stuff, Ryan, they don't just offer contracts, Ryan, and Maz, where it's like, $4 million. That's all we can get, or $2 million, or $7 million. It's not always just about numbers. It's about a piece of this. It's about a piece of that. We can promise a front office position. We can promise an ambassador or ambassadorship position as well. Those now come with the territory when you're talking to older players. So I think Calais Campbell is a good look for the city and the team all the way around.
Let me ask you that, because I'm glad you raised that point about he can teach the younger guys. He can mentor this. He can mentor that.
Don't poo-poo on that.
That's what I'm going to ask you. We say that all the time. Automatically, if you look at the chat right now, I don't even have to look at it. I guarantee you somebody's like, oh, yeah, he can mentor Aiden Hutchinson, or he can mentor Jalen Carter, or he can mentor whoever, Josh Paschal. Do guys want to play, or do guys want to play that role of leader and teach guys, continue on their craft, like really be a true leader? I think that's what the Lions hoped Michael Brockers would be.
He wasn't that old, though. But
he was about 30. He was still older than anybody else on the team by almost a decade.
True, but at 30 years old, you still expect a high level input.
You get the point. What I'm trying to say.
Yes, you're going to listen. At the end of the day, like a guy like Calais, or yes, he wants to do that.
That's what. Yeah, 100%. Of course, you're going to listen to him. Does he want to? Go ahead. Yeah.
They will. He wants to do it. Guys that want to play this long, like you're talking about, Calais Campbell's 36. He'll be 37 by the time the season ends, I do believe. You're talking about a guy that's going into year 14 or year 15. He's doing this on purpose. He still enjoys the game. He still loves the game, and he wants to give his knowledge to Aiden Hutchinson. He wants to give his knowledge to Houston. He wants to keep being a part of this league. He wants to be a very valuable part of this league. And one thing I look at when you win the Walter Payton Man of the Year, things like that, you're in the community, you're in the team, you're into the effort, you're into giving and instilling values. That's what Walter Payton Man of the Year do. And I think here's a guy. You see him on commercials giving back to the NFL, NFL 60, NFL Cares, NFL Community. Like, he's always about that. I think he's a guy that definitely wants to mentor Ada Hudson, wants to mentor Pascal, wants to mention Houston. I definitely think he's a guy that wants to do that.
Hey, man, all you got to do is watch what he does.
Thank you.
How he practices, how he plays. You're going to get in those rooms. You're going to get in the defensive. You're going to get in the edge room. You're going to get in the linebacker room. You're going to see this guy, and the coaches are going to say, hey, look, you got to do it. Look, did you see what Calais do? You see how he does it? Do you see what he does after practice? That's all. Just follow the leader. He doesn't even have to say much.
Yeah, you're right.
He doesn't have to say much. He just has to be Calais Campbell.
Like, one thing is, and I always look at this, when I got to the first star that I saw in terms of on a football team, in terms of a big name, in terms of that, was Willie McGinnis. Now, I know Willie McGinnis isn't, somebody that's knocking down the Hall of Fame doors. I know he's not somebody that's knocking down the door of 10 Pro Bowls or something like that. But you got to think, when I was in high school, Willie McGinnis was winning championships. He was winning Super Bowls. We saw Willie McGinnis for the better part of 4 or 5 years with that New England Patriots team. You saw him at the forefront at the end winning championships. So when he first got to the Cleveland Browns, I saw Cameron Wembley, who was our first-round draft pick that year. DN out of Florida State, had 11.5 sacks as a rookie. I saw him watching Willie's every movement. I saw him watching Willie watching film. I saw him watching Willie getting in the hot tub the cold tank before practice, getting in the cold tank after practice, like getting a little treatment on his back. I saw everything that Willie was doing. I started noticing that the younger guys on the team were doing. I started noticing it was like this line of train of DNs following Willie McGinnis around because Willie knew how to do it. And at the end of the day, what you want, more than a Hall of Fame, more than a Pro Bowl, you want to win a Super Bowl, and Willie had 3 of those things, and so yes, they followed him.
And moreover than that, yeah, it's great that
Calais doesn't have any Super Bowls.
Aaron Glenn talks about it and has been there. Yeah. It's great that Dan Campbell talks about it and has been there.
You're not going out for a drink with Dan Campbell.
It's great that Deuce Staley, even though he's not here anymore, I'm just talking about former players, Calvin Pritchett. It's great that all these former players have been there and done that. But I think it's, and you tell me if I'm wrong, you were there, I think it's even better if you've got a player actively on the roster that you look at Michael Jordan, you're not looking at Phil Jackson. You look at Phil Jackson, it's nice, but Michael Jordan tells you to do something, you're going to do it.
When I was in New York, like, hey, look, if Brian Schottenheimer called me to go grab a bite to eat and a drink, I would probably have an excuse. Like, if my coach wanted to go out and get a bite, I got this event to do. Rex will be the only guy on that coaching staff where I'd be like, I'm there. I drop it. But the players, if Jason Taylor would have said, hey, Braylon, I got this event. We're going to launch the 11s. You had me at Braylon. Hey, LaDainian says, hey, Braylon, I want to work out this week. I don't want to work out, but it's LaDainian Tomlinson, so I'm damn sure going to go run the hill until I pass out. It's LaDainian Tomlinson. Guys like that, you may not want to do it, but you're always going to go out there and you're going to listen to what they have to say. So I just think in those terms, you got some great coaches, but it's nothing like having players that are great players that you still can say, I would like to go and learn a little bit.
No doubt about it. Guys, I want to play this audio for you. It's from Brad Holmes. Where is it from, Maz?
Lions.com.
Lions.com. I think this is interesting. He talks about the courtship of C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Didn't even think it was a possibility to holy Toledo. We can get this guy. Here's Brad Johnson. Excuse me.
Holmes.
Brad Holmes, not Brad Johnson. He won the Super Bowl with the Bucks.
He did. Big bad Brad.
Brad Holmes talking about his courtship of C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
We invested in Tracy, and he's going to come back from his injury, and he's on track. We fully expect Tracy to be back, and Kirby showed a lot of promise last year. So it's not like we were kind of like eager to acquire another like starting level, high level safety, but with the position flexibility that he has to play safety, to play nickel, and the way it all kind of went down is when I saw the grades and the ball production and all that, it's like, okay, this guy's probably getting top safety money, and we're just not going to be in that market. And so as kind of probably midway through the week, I just kept following up with his agent, and my rides home, usually that's my decompression space, but I just kept calling Kevin, just checking in and saying, hey man, what's going on? And that just kept escalating, and then it escalated all the way up until, I want to say, Friday we had a good conversation, and then Saturday we followed up again just internally as a group, and then even Sunday morning when it was just another one of those routine calls, and it just happened to escalate till, we kind of got in a position we could get it done.
Calling him on the way home from the office every day?
Yeah.
It was really, really well done. Brad Holmes talking about that on Lions.com. This is the right guy for the right job at the right time. Brad Holmes absolutely hit a home run this offseason to me already, and we haven't even had the draft yet. And it shows whether you're an NFL general manager, a car salesman, a TV executive, a janitor, relationships, man. It's all about relationships. Even when he thought he had no shot at C.J. Gardner-Johnson, he was just talking to the agent, lobbing phone calls off to his agent, talking about life, talking about the game, talking about whatever.
Yeah. Staying top of mind.
Staying top of mind, staying in touch. Relationships, and this guy gets it.
100%. And you can tell that C.J. Gardner-Johnson, as well as his agent Kevin, you can tell that they know that Brad Holmes is an authentic individual. They know that Brad Holmes is he's producing a situation with Brad and Dan Campbell that's going to be a really good situation. It wasn't authentic. Wanted to get him in there, and it does happen. The biggest thing that I paid attention to was not going to be in that market. Like, will this be Brad Holmes forever? Like, not going to be in that market? And what I mean by that, very smart, very frugal with the money as it relates to building a situation. Will this be Brad Holmes? Like, will this be his position forever,
No.
or just right in this initial situation, we don't have money to waste? Okay. I love it.
I think he's building first.
Absolutely. I think Brad Holmes, even last year, didn't even spend any money because he's like, I got to see what we got. Every year he has been able to adapt to the team and the year he believes he can have. And this year, they believe they can at least, at the bare minimum, be division champions. And I think he's doing it the right way. Now, will there come a year where he's like, there's one guy that puts us over the top. We're going to go spend all kinds of money and go get that guy? Yes. Hopefully that year happens really soon. But
I feel like when I was in the NFL, they used to have these. They used to offer these packages where you could go to Wharton Business School. Like if you applied, and they chose you out of however many people applied at Wharton. And there's a couple other programs and things that they had. If Brad Holmes taught a class on literary, like finance, like he taught a class on finance, I would definitely be a class I'd attend. And the reason why is he's showing you, don't spend all that you have. Don't spend beyond your means. Stay, wait, be patient, be methodical, be frugal, and then you'll have the money that you need when you need it to spend when you want to. He's literally teaching a master class on how to use money as an NFL or professional GM.
This guy in his first 3 years here in Detroit, he's got monster numbers. I'll compare him to, I'm not going to say Shohei Ohtani, but I'll say a hell of a hitter, Freddie Freeman. He's had three unbelievably great years here in Detroit. He has built them from the crap that was left by Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn to a team that we all believe is going to win the NFC North this season and compete for a Super Bowl. Hell, he had them competing for a Super Bowl last year. He's done everything right. Between the guys he's hired and the people he's brought in, well done. This could have been like a 10-year rebuild after those idiots left here. They left a disaster here.
Oh, man, like disaster. Absolute disaster. Like Brad Holmes, Brad Holmes is special. Like I saw Rick Ross. Rick Ross is a rapper. I love Rick Ross. Like, it was my dude.
Rick Ross.
Rose. They say it's my beard. I had my beard before Rick Ross. But anyway, with Rick Ross, he was talking about he loves when guys come up to him now and they see him in a Rolls Royce. Or they see him, album covers, album sales. They see his house, they see him going viral, and they're like, "Oh man, I see the vision." Where were you back then when I had the vision? You didn't want to support me. Where were you then? That's Brad Holmes. We laughed at Brad Holmes when 3-13-1, bringing everybody back. Run it back. We laughed at him. We said Brad Holmes ain't going to make it. Dan Campbell isn't going to make it. Look at where they are 3 years later. They had the vision back then, and I was like, I don't see it. They won't be here. And now we see the vision. It's too late. They already had it.
They said it was a 3-year deal.
Told us that.
Here we are.
Yeah. Told us that.
They wanted to have a chance to win the division championship in year 3, and here we are knocking on the door. Guys, Braylon alluded to it in the last segment. That's Mike Tannenbaum in that mock draft that has Hendon Hooker number 5. Who the Detroit Lions get? Where do they get Jalen Carter? We'll have that for you coming up next. But first, a message from the Folding Warehouse.
Oh, I get my folding pin out here. I got it back. The Folding Warehouse down in Hamtramck, Michigan. It is as much fun as you could have indoors at bowling. Bowling and, of course, football. Unbelievable. My 2 favorite sports. And they just one game for you guys. $12 unlimited open play.
$12?
Yes, or a private lane reservation. You got it for 10 people or 12 people on a lane, $120, and it's 2 hours of fun for you guys. So get on that right now, and of course you can any drink you want because they have multiple full bars and over 100 beers on that beer menu, plus the $2 mystery beer machine. Get your fold on at foldingwarehouse.com.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron. Here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
You're about to be shell-shocked. The catch of the day is in. Big Boy Seafood Fest is officially back. Join us for some of your favorites like our popcorn shrimp and pike perch platters and our classic fish and chips. This year, we've reeled in some fresh catches like our shrimp Alfredo, shrimp stir-fry, and our fish sandwich. And especially, don't forget about our all-you-can-eat Friday night fish fry buffet. Every day is a fish fry at Big Boy.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Now is the best time to join Planet Fitness. The gym that has always been known for being clean is now cleaner than ever. With tons of equipment, a full body workout in the 30-minute circuit, and all memberships include fitness training. But the best part about all this, you get it all just for $10 a month.
Only $10?
Yes, only $10 a month. Your fitness is essential and a key part of your physical and mental well-being. So join Planet Fitness in Club today, or as always, check them out online at planetfitness.com.
Hey, welcome back on a Tuesday. Want to get to this. There's so much made of Jalen Carter, and even with the Calais Campbell, you know, we're talking about how great it would be if Calais Campbell would be a member of the Detroit Lions to mentor and show the way to Jalen Carter. Well, the Lions are, in fact, this from Pride of Detroit on Twitter, the Lions will reportedly host defensive tackle Jalen Carter on a pre-draft visit. And I think it's important to do your due diligence, right? I mean, this is absolutely the right move to at least take a look at it. It would be probably malfeasance to not look at this, who many people believe is the number 1 player in the draft. But at the same time, there's a lot there.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you know, this reminds me of, and I saw, I've been watching so many podcasts lately, man. I was watching John Sally. John Sally is one of my favorite people. I used to shovel the snow for God's sakes. When in '96, the Orlando Magic didn't want to match the deal that the Los Angeles Lakers made to John Sally. One of the things that they had in place before even bringing John Sally was, bringing in Shaquille O'Neal, the Los Angeles Lakers bringing Shaquille O'Neal, was bringing in somebody that can be a professional, bringing in somebody that could work with Shaq, talk to Shaq, keep Shaq out of trouble. That's what John Sally basically said on his podcast. Shaq even admits it. Hey, John was the big guy, been there, won championships. He was there, showed me the way, helped me stay out of trouble, you know. That's Shaq. Same thing. You do your due diligence. They wouldn't do their diligence with John Solly first. They bring in
Tree
Shaq.
Rollins, I thought that.
Tree Rollins. That's what they thought. But you did your due diligence. You bring in John Solly. John Solly's a cool guy, works for Shaq, kicks the kill. Now you see it in kind of a similar situation. Now they talk about Calais Campbell here with the Detroit Lions. They're talking about potentially being interested in him, bringing him in year 36. Now they're also bringing in Jalen Carter because it would be dumb not to. So now you bring in Jalen Carter, but you have Calais Campbell. You pair those guys together, and you don't necessarily have to worry as much about, is this guy going to be a bust for you mentally at that position?
I just don't think he's going to slip as bad. A lot of people think he's going to slip. I just don't see it. He's not going to get by 6.
Well,
there's no way.
If you believe what Mike Tannenbaum has to say. Now, this is one of those things, okay? Look, we have all these nice, shiny mock drafts. NFL Network, Pelissero, Rappaport. You've got Kuiper and McShay. Every network you have does a mock draft. And then draft night comes, and the Oakland Raiders are selecting Cleveland Farrell.
Right.
And you're like, what?
Solomon Thomas, the freaking Stanford. It went number 2 overall to the 49ers.
Mike Tannenbaum had my Cleveland Farrell moment. And we saw it a minute ago. Top 5, Bryce Young, number 1. C.J. Stroud, number 2. Arizona selects Will Anderson Jr. Colts go with Will Levis. And the Seattle Seahawks select Hendon Hooker at number 5. He says, this might raise some eyebrows, but hear me out. I think Hooker is a really under-scouted player right now, largely because he's coming off the torn ACL in his left knee. I love his strong arm, 6'3" frame. Before the injury, Hooker looked great for the Vols. He led the nation in yards per attempt, threw 2 interceptions over 11 starts, and was a top 10 passer in terms of completion percentage, nearly 70%. I see a potential franchise quarterback and someone who can lead an offense. Go watch his performance against Alabama if you disagree. The Seahawks recently signed Geno Smith. He'll be 33 this season, and Hooker will get time to develop.
Yeah, 100%.
It's hard to argue, man. Like, do you think you can get him somewhere else?
There's no way in hell Hendon Hooker's going 5. No way in hell.
The only way he goes above Anthony Richardson is if people just don't think Richardson is the guy.
And Levis ain't going before either one of those
I
guys.
don't doubt that, to be honest with you.
But
I don't doubt that.
Here's the thing. Why do every year we watch the draft, we sit back as couch analysts and say, this will never happen, that will never happen, this will never happen, and it happens. Like last year, Malik Willis, and this isn't anything against you guys, Malik Willis was in the top 10 for the better part of the whole January to March deal. He was in Mel Kiper's last top 20.
He was 20th.
He was 20 in Mel's last pick. He was swinging the last pick. Like, sometimes these things, they just don't play out. I think as you look at the board for a situation like a Hendon Hooker, how will it play out? Well, last year, up until the Georgia game, everybody had Hendon Hooker as number 1 quarterback in the country. Everybody had Hendon Hooker as the quarterback that had ascended, taken over the Heisman run. He's having a run like no other. He beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Like, he's doing all this. Everyone saw that, but then all of a sudden he tears the ACL. And all of a sudden you forgot how good he was in the toughest conference in football. You forgot how great he was with his efficiency. You forgot how big his arm was. You forgot how he led that offense from Josh Heupel, which is a current style NFL pro-style offense. You forget all of that, and you want to give a guy a chance in Richardson, who there's so many concerns about. There's so many questions about, but it's always, well, he didn't have that much talent, and when you bring him in here, he'll be able to explode. It'll be good. If Hendon Hooker went first over, not first, hell no, I'm
5th.
Drinking the wrong thing over here. If he went 5th overall, I can understand it from that point of view. When you sit back and did your due diligence, you're like, okay, he was injured at quarterback. Hendon Hooker wasn't running 4.3 as a quarterback anyway. So an ACL injury for a Hendon Hooker is not that bad of a situation. I saw Carson Palmer tear his ACL and come back better.
He's got Richardson going
11. So that's what
Tennessee.
Can I pick up on that point for a
Please.
minute? Because if Anthony Richardson and Jalen Carter are on the board for the
our
Lions,
That's what,
are on the board for the Lions, and the Detroit Lions don't take either player.
He's got Tyree Wilson.
And that's just it. Tyree Wilson to the Lions. The Lions allowed the second most yards per pass last season, ranked 20th in sacks. They added Cam Sutton, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and Emmanuel Mosley through free agency. And I thought about adding another defensive back here, but Wilson had an outstanding career at Texas Tech after transferring from A&M. Logged 14 sacks the past 2 seasons. He's long and plays heavy. Wilson, paired with Aiden Hutchinson, provides Detroit an outstanding duo of pass rushers for the next decade. So under this scenario, he has Maz, the Lions passing on Jalen Carter and Anthony Richardson at 6.
Yeah, that's to me. Who does that? I think that's crazy, and I like Mike Tannenbaum as a general manager.
But Mike,
I'm not. He's got inside information that, of course, I don't have. None of us have, and we are couch GMs, like you called us, Braylon.
Well,
but
me too.
I just don't see in any scenario that Richardson is dropping to 11th, and that we're taking Tyree Wilson over Carter or Richardson.
I can see Richardson dropping. I mean, at the end of the day, I go back to what happened with Malik Willis last year. Look, the fear of the unknown is a real thing. All these people can tell you all this good stuff, and it comes out from analysts, but analysts, they're not on the clock. Analysts do not have to entrust their franchise to an individual with so many questions. So it sounds good during the combine. It sounds good during Senior Bowl. Sounds good until you're really on that clock. As an individual representing the better part of $4.5 billion and representing the future and what this is going to do, I can see teams getting cold feet, and I can see why he says that. Now, with the Jalen Carter situation, him slipping and not even getting to the Lions, I know Mike Tannenbaum. I love Mike Tannenbaum. Mike Tannenbaum, now, when it comes to breaking down information, as sharp as they come. When it comes to being GM, sometimes you make the safe decision. Sometimes you make that decision that we don't want the Detroit Lions to make right now. He looks at it as a situation from the incident, Carr's situation, where is he in terms of when he's not at the facility? Where is his mindset as it relates to what happened with that situation? What does his mindset consider? He was 9 pounds overweight as pro day and couldn't finish. Mike Tannenbaum is passing on Jalen Carter because of those intangibles, and for that, I understand.
He has the
I
Lions.
still wouldn't, but I understand.
Mike Tannenbaum has the Lions passing on Jalen Carter once, but not twice. At number 18,
Ooh.
He's got Jalen Carter slipping all the way down to the Detroit Lions with the 18th pick. Jalen Carter to the Detroit Lions. Here's the write-up. Detroit performed poorly in a number of defensive categories last year, including bottom 3 figures in passing yards against per attempt, rushing yards against per attempt, and opponent third down conversion rate. I got the Lions in edge rusher earlier on, but now I'm not done building that defensive line. A team with multiple first-round picks can take a calculated risk here. Carter is just that. Pleaded no contest to misdemeanor charges of reckless driving and racing after an arrest during Combine Week. He appeared out of shape at his pro day in mid-March, but despite just 6 sacks in the past 2 seasons, his talent is on another level, and this could end up being a great pick at number 18. Jalen Carter at 18.
Let me say, what
I should just let you finish before I did my analysis. That's exactly what happened.
Bring Jeff Iafredi back in here, because I'm going to have Jeff say the following. Jeff, if I'm Jeff, I would say, I'll shave my head again if Jalen Carter gets past the Bears at 9. There's no freaking way that kid is falling out of the top 10. No way.
Yeah, I mean, I go back to what I say. At the end of the day, I see it. When you're talking about being responsible for a franchise, these franchises on average are worth $4 billion or more. I mean, we're talking about the freaking Commanders got valued at $6 billion, right? Just under $6 billion. So when you're looking at it from that standpoint, you're seeing all the uncertainties of these things happen. Like, something like this hasn't happened in a very long time. Like, this is something that would happen in the 90s. This is something that happened in 2000, and you're trying to figure it out. Things like this don't happen with these guys. So I'm just... From that standpoint, you got to be careful, and I can see a lot of guys get nervous, and then I can understand what he says in that second part. If the Lions get 2 cracks at it, hey, you swing for the fences at 18 and miss, who cares? You still had somebody at 6 that worked out well for him. People forget you even had 2 first-round picks. So I can see why he has him at 18, but it's a real deal. You're talking about death. You're talking high-speed chases. You're talking about people saying characteristic issues. Now, if Todd McShay was alluding to something else that we don't know about, that's another thing that comes out. So I can see the slippage happening. People are getting scared. People are looking like, hey, you were a part of something. I don't know if I want to support
that.
Where's
Bijan?
19.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
19 to Tampa. I'll get to this next. But I do want to
that up.
I do want to ask you guys.
He wasn't always the best GM.
Do you believe that Jalen Carter will slip to 18? I will tell you why it's a strong possibility. We'll do it next. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. That's right, Les Stanford, a trusted name for over 55 years. Les Stanford has expanded into Ferndale deal with a Buick GMC brands. Same great service that customers have come to know. You can go check them out on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. Of course, looking for a Chevy or Cadillac, head on into Les Stanford in Dearborn on Michigan Avenue. You can find the brand you want under one umbrella. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Find new road.
Find them.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots, he scores!
With four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
As for Alta, at Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, give Alta Rental a call. Do it today, 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO, the number 2, Alta.
Oh, welcome back to the second hour. Ermanni, Edwards, and Maz. I can't believe you guys didn't hear this, man. So I'm watching the pressers come out from the coaches meetings down there in Florida, and also just like a couple coaches being on the hot seat. Coaches are getting interviewed. Dan Campbell, obviously he's not on the hot seat. He's doing good, so his interviews are well. Bill Belichick is a guy that's been on the hot seat recently. Maz, we've talked about Belichick, and I saw this picture. This is our boy Dove Kleiman. This is Bill yesterday.
I think he looks good.
In the coach's photo picture, by the way, I cropped it out. Actually, Dan Campbell was like literally 2 people next to Kevin O'Connell. But I've never seen Bill he looks awkward. Like he looks awkward. He got the shorts on. They're kind of short. He's like, they got the squinched up face. He didn't wear the hat. They got him in the sun. Soon as I saw this, I was expecting some gold, some gem for him at the NFL coaches meetings, and that didn't let me down. Today they asked him, say, hey, you know, in the last 3 years, you haven't had success since Tom Brady has left. You made it to the playoff once. You were blown out by the Buffalo Bills. What optimism do fans have going into the 2023 season? He paused for about 7 seconds, and he says, the last 25 years. That was his answer. He reverts to the past 25 years. The guy that never likes to talk about the past, the guy that tells his players, don't talk about Pro Bowls, don't talk about All Pros, don't talk about Super Bowl. Check your ego at the door. Don't talk about, they can't even wear T-shirts after they win the Super Bowl in the building. I've seen him cut multiple teammates of mine, like friends of mine, cut them because, what have you done for me lately? Y'all, you didn't do what you did last year. Or we won't pay you because we don't believe in the long run. He let Tom Brady walk out the door because he didn't believe in the long run. And now all of a sudden he wants to talk about 25 years ago. Now all of a sudden you want to talk about all the Super Bowl wins that you've done. Man, just like Janet said in the 80s, what have you done for me lately?
Oh man,
I just can't believe it. But this
That's
is
why he needs to get Lamar.
But this is the beginning of the end. Like this is really the end.
Oh, this is the end of the end.
You're right. This is the end of the end for Bill Belichick. We talked about like when Bill starts to do things that he has preached for years not to do, when he wants to live in the past, when he wants to reflect on the past, you know what's up. It's over, man.
Just don't count him out, man.
It's over.
I wouldn't count him out.
It's over. You know, Bart Scott said this. All AFC East teams, they hit the end mark. When Joe Namath, it was over. Dan Marino, it was over. Jim Kelly, it was over. And now Tom Brady, it's over. It's okay. It's over.
Very funny. Very astute observation on your part, too.
It's all those shorts, man.
Mr. Braylon Edwards. I wanted to get to this. You talk about Jeff Iafrate on the morning show saying he'd shave his head again if Jalen Carter fell to 18. Maz, you said you'd shave your head.
No, I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that. No. No, I didn't say anything about that.
Oh, okay.
That's why I used Jeff. I'm like, bring Jeff back and let him say that.
I would not be shocked if Jalen Carter slid to 18. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because you just took some Quaaludes?
No. And hear me out on this.
Lemons?
Hear me out on this. If you're an NFL general manager, there's one thing you cannot do. Otherwise, you get fired. You know what that is?
Draft a criminal?
Miss on first-round picks. If you miss on first-round picks, you get fired. That's just...
You're fired!
Thank you, Vince. That's just the way it is. If you miss on consecutive first-round picks, well, then you're definitely out.
You won't get a job again.
Yes,
if you miss
exactly. If you miss consecutively,
you don't get
that affects
job.
your second job.
Yeah.
But if you miss out on a first-round pick, you're definitely going to get fired, most likely. It's going to take a team that has 2 first-round picks to take Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter is going to be picked by a team with 2 first-round picks. And there are 4 teams with 2 first-round picks. Seattle, Houston, Detroit, and Philadelphia. You look at Seattle. Are they taking him at 5?
I don't know.
Probably not.
Why not?
Well, maybe they take a quarterback there or Tyree Wilson. Potentially he could get taken at 5, but he's not lasting until 20.
Well, Tannenbaum's got him taking Hooker.
Right. But he's not lasting until 20. Is Houston taking him at 2?
No.
They're going to take their quarterback C.J. Stroud at 2. Then you know what they're going to do at 12? They're going to come back and get a wide receiver for their quarterback that they just got. So Houston's probably out. You look at Detroit. Detroit at 6. Are they going to take Jalen Carter at 6?
I hope.
We hope. If they don't, they wait till 18. But if Jalen Carter doesn't get picked 10th to Philadelphia, he's going to wait till 18.
Yeah.
If Jalen Carter does not get picked 10th to Philadelphia, he will slide to 18.
Okay, tell me who's picking 11 through 18.
All right, 11, Tennessee.
Why? They just got rid of half their team.
Well, they select Anthony Richardson there. The only player you can miss on is a quarterback, by the way.
He's not lasting that
and
long.
I'll tell you, I think Anthony Richardson is going to get taken by a team with 2 first-round picks as well. Just saying. Whether that's Seattle or Detroit or somebody.
Maz, what makes you so sure Anthony Richardson won't be there at 10, 11, 12?
Because he's going top 3.
But you thought that about someone last year.
No, I didn't say that. I said I want to take Malik Willis. Everyone says I said take him at 3.
I never said
take him at 2.
I never said that. But
take
you
him
thought
at
Malik
2.
would be off the
board. I said take him in the first round.
But you thought he'd be off the board. Okay, all right. Well, that is.
Anthony Richardson ain't Malik Willis.
Well, I know that. I'm not asking you that, but I'm just saying, like, last year you thought a similar thing. I'm just asking you, what makes you so sure that he'll be on the board? Like, he won't make it past.
I just don't think I don't see it. Yeah. What he did in the combine alone, he earned himself a top 5
Yeah, if
spot.
he was playing wide receiver.
Okay, we'll see.
You know, if you're Chicago at 9, you keep mentioning Chicago at 9. I don't know if that new general manager could avoid a swing and miss. If Jalen Carter doesn't work out, you have insulated yourself with your other first-round pick.
The problem is it's no hearsay with Jalen Carter. If you're if you're in the top 10, if you're top 10 picks and you're a GM and you know it's hearsay, like we've heard some rumblings about his characteristics, or we heard that he was clocked going this, a bunch of I heards, or that I heard this or this. That's one thing, and then when you don't pick that guy up, when you draft that guy, well, I can understand why you drafted, because it was a lot of hearsay, it was a lot of rumor mill stuff, it wasn't necessarily a lot of validity to it. But when you see Jalen Carter basically have no air, no wind, gasping for breath, trying to finish out his workout that he definitely knew he had, when you hear the incident come out and you hear the racing and he left the scene of crime and somebody died at the scene of crime and then he comes back, then you see that he was speeding, he was going 95 and a 40 months before that. Well, these are things that really came out. These were things that people really saw. These were things that your fan base knew that you knew before you drafted him. So if the fan base sees that, then you draft that guy, and it doesn't work out, that's what Ryan Ermanni is saying. Like, now you're like, we got to get this guy out of here, because you knew that happened, and you still ignored it, still drafted him, and it happened, it played out like that. So I can see exactly what
Who's
you're
at 12?
12. So Anthony Richardson to the Tennessee Titans, because they say Malik Willis isn't it, and Ryan Tannehill's 35 years old.
You're reading Tannenbaum.
Yeah,
right?
I'm just
give me who's picking.
Houston picks Quentin Johnson.
Go ahead. 13.
Paris Johnson Jr., the offensive tackle from Ohio State, to the Jets.
Okay, so the Jets aren't going to take him.
The Patriots take Darnell Wright, offensive tackle, Tennessee.
So the Patriots aren't going to take
the
him.
Green Bay Packers, offensive tackle run.
So the Packers aren't going to take him.
Offensive tackle from Ohio State to the Packers. Washington selects Dalton Kincaid, tight end from Utah.
So the Commanders are going to pass on him. Okay.
17 is the Pittsburgh Steelers, Devin Witherspoon, corner.
So they're going to take a corner over him.
Yeah,
okay.
Replacing Emmanuel.
Everybody you just named, they have quarterbacks, man. He just drafted Kenny Pickett last week.
No, I'm talking about Jalen Carter.
Oh, Jalen Carter. Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to have all those teams. Those teams are all needy. And they're going to pass on Jalen Carter.
Are they needy and a potential criminal? Like, I'm not saying he's a criminal. He's not. I have been on the Jalen
You're the guy that defends people.
Exactly. But I'm defending him too. But I'm playing devil's advocate because I played in that world. I know how those guys think. I know how those GMs think. I know how those owners are on that pressure. So I know that side of it. I'm not saying it from logical individuals like us. They're like, we know we need Jalen Carter. We know he makes the most sense. I still stick Jalen Carter at 6. But I'm just saying when you're looking at those franchises, they're like, the potential criminal thing is like, it's a big thing. Like, it's a real thing for these GMs and these owners. It's like, I don't want to be in that position.
It's easy to say take Jalen Carter, but when it's
not you,
when it's on when your job is on the line, are you taking a player that you are not sure you can count on? And that is why I believe that Jalen Carter is going to be taken by a team with 2 first-round picks in this draft, and that is Seattle, Houston, Detroit, and Philadelphia, and you can almost wipe out Houston. You can wipe out Houston because they're going to go, in my opinion, quarterback, wide receiver.
As a GM,
2 and 12.
As a GM and as a first-round draft pick, there is one word that you don't want to be synonymous with your name, and it goes for the GM and it goes for the players as well. You don't want to be a bust. You don't want to be a bust because players that get labeled as bust, guess what? Those GMs that drafted them, they are no longer employed by the NFL. And a bust pick isn't a mispick. If you get labeled as drafting a bust, you're gonna get dropped again.
No doubt.
You're the guy that compares Jalen to Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp got crapped on in his draft.
Maz, you don't.
And he's in the Hall of Fame.
But Maz, you failed to decipher me and what I would do versus me giving you how those GMs and the front offices think. Me, as Braylon Edwards, I'm drafting Jalen Carter because I would have drafted Warren Sapp. And you see what happened with Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp was the best defensive tackles of all time, arguably the best defense of all time, Baltimore Ravens, but here's the second. So I would draft him. But from the front office position, you really got to think about the traits and the trends that you've seen. If this is something that's going to be a consistent behavior, then it's showing you the direction in which he's going in. Like, this is the Motor City. You know, you're going to be racing cars and doing all that kind of stuff, and next time it won't be your boy that died, it'll be you. So I can see the hesitancy if you're a front office position and how they do it. I still would draft Jalen Carter.
Don't you think these teams are all going to talk to him like we all said? The Lions are going to fly him in and talk to him on a pre-draft day.
That's why
Don't you think every team's going to do that? And don't you think they're going to say, hey, you can't be doing the crap that you just did? And what's he going to say? Yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'll never do that again.
But Ja Morant was seen with guns 4 times before the Memphis Grizzlies finally said enough is enough. We got to come up with a situation. Ja Morant, don't you think, and this is what we said, well, don't you think a player would say to him, you're about to waste $230 million or you're about to blow this deal and blow that? Guess what? Didn't matter. Yeah. He did it anyway.
Guys, lots more to get to, including Braylon's new best friend that I did not get to yesterday. I want to get to that next, and then we'll go around the NFL. Lots more to get to today. Great story with Braylon Edwards and one of the greats of all time. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Olafson, DC, the founder of the Custom Health Centers, and we've helped thousands of people learn how easy it is to lose weight and keep it off with our customized weight loss and body contouring programs.
With Custom Health, you don't feel hungry, you eat well. My name is Simeon Timbuk, and I lost 71 pounds on the program.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Hey, the Detroit Lions, before we get to Braylon's new best friend, the Detroit Lions will have another joint practice this preseason. Detroit Lions coach Dan Campbell said his team will have joint practices against the Giants in week 1 of the preseason this summer. Lions and Giants, Ralph Vacchiano, thank you. Ralph Vacchiano believes we'll play in week 1 of the preseason.
Makes sense.
Yes, that does.
Just like what they did last year with the Colts.
Yes, exactly. And the Colts were, when we watched Hard Knocks and we were, the Lions are beating the Colts. Yeah. We thought the Colts were going to be division winners.
Little did we know.
Yeah, it just goes to show you each and every year there is it's a new year.
Yep.
The Colts were a bad football team.
What did
Dan
Campbell tell Frank Reich? Hey, let's do this again next year. Frank's like, yep, well, I'm in. Let's do it.
No, thank you. Going to have to go to Carolina.
Got to go to Carolina.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, Braylon Edwards, break this down for us. Tell us about your run-in with greatness here. You've had many of them.
Oh, man, it's crazy. I'm just supporting
Prime time.
Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders is on Instagram. Deion's everywhere. Prime time's everywhere. Coach Prime he's on Instagram. He's on TikTok. He's on Twitter, Facebook. He's on Amazon Prime. He's everywhere. So he was just talking about players having to earn their number. Like, even if you wear a number now, coming into next year, every number is up. It's like on the block. Basically, you got to earn it. Like, if somebody's earned it, they become a starting wide receiver, and you ran 5 and you aren't doing anything, get your number. And I just told him, I said the same thing happened to me and Lloyd. Like, I came to Michigan, I wanted 1. My dad talked about 1, and Lloyd said I wasn't worthy enough. So I hadn't earned it. So I had to earn the number. So I had to earn the 1.
Do we have that sound?
You said what?
Can I play the sound for you? And then we'll pick it up after that.
I tell the story based on it. I piggyback.
Deion Sanders.
Decision to have the kids earn their jersey numbers. Yeah. Is there a story behind that, and what are you hoping that creates?
I'm old school. Anybody here over 45? Didn't we have to earn every darn thing we got? Ain't nobody gave us nothing. So this whole new thing, first of all, we got this new thing now in college football about double numbers. We didn't have. If somebody gave you a double number in college, that assured that you weren't gonna play. That's how it was, wasn't it? Now it's like normal, and you got to earn stuff. Ain't nobody giving you nothing. We got kids ain't played a snap, and you want to be one. You know what number 1 meant back in the day for us? That you were that one. Then you got number 1 getting the frame tore out of him out there on the field. Like, come on, you got to be crazy. Now it's a fight in the stands because the mama's wearing number 1 and her son, her baby's getting murdered out there. It's just a new day. Single digits was something you had to be him. You had to be him. Now you got linemen wanting 0s and 3s. Okay, if I give a lineman that number, the DB or the receiver or the running back can't take that big number. So now I got a deficit of numbers. So all this stuff is.
Yeah, and that's real. And that's kind of how I looked at it is, I wanted to wear a 1. Lloyd didn't want to give me none, but nobody was wearing 1. I went out there my freshman year, said I didn't deserve it again. Came back my sophomore year already, and I made the first team Big Ten, whatever. But I had to earn it.
Right.
But it gave me that driving force, though. It was like me being mad at Lloyd was my driving force. I was like, the hell with him. I'm going to show him that you got to earn it. And you know what? I'm going to go earn it. And I tweeted that I told that story, and then Prime tweeted me back. And I just was excited. It's Prime. And then obviously – this is here it is. Brian, I appreciate the follow. You're one of the greatest pro athletes of all time to me. Now we get to see how great of a man, mentor, and leader and life coach you are. You keep striding, and we will keep supporting and following. We'll love to visit Boulder, and then obviously say anytime. Now, when Prime responded, he has somebody that runs his page just like most everybody, but Prime is in charge of his page, unlike most people. So he did DM me, and we did talk. So I do plan on going out to Boulder this summer. But it's a real thing, man. You got to earn it, and I've seen it. I've seen it in Ann Arbor, man, for the past 5 years, man. You just give numbers out.
Number one, they give it out like nothing.
I don't understand how you give number one out like that. First of all, I don't understand how it wasn't retired after Anthony Carter wore it, if we're being honest. But I was able to wear it. David Terrell was able to wear it, whatever. You got to earn that number. Like, when I saw a 1 on the field, I saw 1. I knew that guy was cold. I didn't care what sport it was. I knew that guy was cold. And in football, I'm like, you see 1, the quarterback is going to be great, or the wide receiver is going to be great, or the DB wearing it is going to be great. Now linebackers wear it, D linemen wear it. Now in Ann Arbor, you see 1, doesn't mean anything to you.
They leave.
The last 3 have left. The last 3 have left. Like, when you see that 1, like USC, back in the day, when you saw 55 at USC, you knew that linebacker was going to knock your head off.
Say Al.
Like, you knew that linebacker was going to knock your head off. Keith Rivers after that. Like, you knew that linebacker was going to knock your head off. What's the number at Texas? Was it 60? I think it was 60 back in the day for Texas, or Oklahoma was 50. Like, you see certain numbers and they mean business. Now when I see number 1 up there, it's like it's another guy probably left. Another prize probably gonna leave. I understand everybody likes the cool numbers, but you got to understand, you got to learn to earn those cool numbers.
No doubt. And then he talked about the double numbers, and I do hate the double number.
Me too.
I mean, yeah. Even if you look at Michigan, Will Johnson number 2, Blake Corum number 2. I hate it.
Terrible.
Like,
That's terrible.
Like, when you go buy a jersey, now I guess you could put the name on it, but back in the day you couldn't buy a jersey with the name on it. So, like, you're like,
so you can say it's my jersey and be like the walk-on. Yeah, it'd be your jersey,
right? I mean, who are they? So I don't know, man. I hate the double number. I hate the just like you said, just giving the number.
Yeah, some double numbers I understand, because I mean, there's only so many numbers. Like, it's so many kids.
You got 100 kids on the team.
122 to be honest, but a lot of those are walk-ons, and they don't dress on game day. It's like 83 people or 83 kids. So you need double numbers somehow, but I just choose a number that wasn't a double number.
Yeah, and it does feel a little bit different now that those numbers at certain universities are used as recruiting tools and not as
recruiting chips.
Yeah, not as earned.
Are there more kids on a team now than back when you played?
Nah, it's the same. 122.
Really?
Like 122, including
Why could they figure it out back then and they can't figure it out now?
Oh, because you couldn't wear certain numbers. Like, back then, they didn't allow certain numbers to be worn at certain positions.
Right. So
you only had 1 through 99, and then they were sectioned off. But now they slowly but surely, like, you more and more can wear everything. That's why you ask why they lobby for those numbers and the change in the rule change. It's because they don't know who the hell is who anymore. Like, you guys don't like 1s and 2s and single digits. So I think as more players are starting to be good and they're starting to open up the numbers that you can wear, players are. Defensive linemen were never trying to wear single digits back in the day, or team numbers. Now you got guys that are 325 talking about, let me get 2. Get your fat ass out of here. Get back on the other side.
Let me ask you a dumb question, guys.
Yeah.
Why do you have 122 kids on a team?
Well, that makes sense. So, it's 53 in the NFL, right? 53 guys that you're going to use, and then 8 practice squad guys, so it's 61, and that's in NFL. In college, you need more bodies because you're playing more schedules. Like, you play the bodies, and then also with the walk-ons, because you allow walk-ons, because you're hitting in practice full speed. Like, you're playing this, you're scrimmaging in practice. You're just going to add it. So that's where you let the walk-ons come in. So basically, you beat up on the walk-ons, but the walk-ons they get you ready for those games. Like going against walk-ons and scout team was harder than going against a lot of times the game. Like, them guys were good, but you play it that way. You use their bodies. So that's what, like, the 40 people you use are those bodies. Special teams, offense.
That's a lot of bodies,
defense,
man.
A lot of bodies.
A lot of injuries.
No doubt.
A lot of injuries.
And a lot of chili pepper tanning. We're going to go around the NFL. We'll do it next. But first, a message from Chili Peppers Tanning.
Yes, sir. Your vitamin D headquarters, 27 locations across Metro Detroit. No excuse to not get your looking good for the summer, for the spring right now. Get that tan on and get that vitamin D feeling. Look outside. There ain't no sun here in Michigan. And if you join the Pepper Club, they're going to beat all competitors by $5 on unlimited tanning, and you get the cleanest salons in the D with the best trained tanning professionals. The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters, ChiliPeppersTanning.com.
I Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Goff, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hey, here we go.
Hey-o.
How you doing, man? You doing? I'm sitting next to greatness every day.
Same.
Braylon Edwards gets the DM with Deion Sanders, prime time. Nobody more hot in the sport right now.
When's Deion coming on?
I'm working on that. I'm working on that. I bet I get him before some other coaches in this area. Hey, the cool thing about it is I'm actually watching DJ Tom T as I'm doing the show. Shout out to Tom T doing his disco sessions this Tuesday. So let me get back on track though. Right. It was cool with Deion because I think. I think sometimes because we see these people all the time nowadays, you forget what like they mean to your childhood. Maz reminds us all the time what players mean to him. But when he DM'd back or when he wrote back and he replied, like I went from a 40-year-old former NFL player analyst that actually played against Deion his last year with the Baltimore Ravens to that kid that saw Deion with one of the most infamous posters in child room history, where he's him in his Dallas Cowboys uniform, standing on top of the globe, and it says water covers 75% of Earth. I cover the rest. Hardest poster I've ever seen.
Unbelievable. Hey, Maz, let's go around the NFL, shall we?
Let's do it, man. And the Washington Commanders have been up for sale. Dan Snyder and his wife have cleaned out their offices in D.C. or in Virginia, wherever they're located. They're out the door, man. And you're looking at a $6 billion offer on the table right now from the Magic Johnson Group. And I know he's a minority partner here, but let's face it, the only name we give a damn about in this is Magic Johnson. $6 billion, Bray.
The Josh Harris, Mitchell's Reels group, which now includes, as Matt said, Magic Johnson officially has submitted a fully financed bid that meets Dan Snyder's $6 billion asking price. You hit the nail on the head. Nobody cares. Nobody knows who Josh Harris is. Nobody knows who Mitchell Reigns is. Hey, we know you the guys with the money. We know you the guys with the bulk of the money. Magic is the piece. Magic is the individual that has owned part of the Los Angeles Lakers. He's helped run the Los Angeles Lakers. He's been there for all of their success. He started helping run the Dodgers when they won the World Series. Yeah. He was a part owner of the Los Angeles. Sold all of his shares of the Lakers to go get the Dodgers. He's a winner. Now selling Dodgers shares to partner up in this group. When Magic Johnson comes to your team, whether it's as a player, whether it's as a front office guy, with the exception of the president of the Lakers, he comes to win, and I think it's a good move for him.
I will say this. I don't think they're going to go for 6. I think somebody's going to come in with $7 billion, and I think it's Mr. Amazon and his group. I think Washington goes for $7 billion. I just want to remind everyone,
it's going to be
just last year, the Broncos went to the Walmart family for $4.5 billion.
It's funny you say that, Matt, too, because and this goes out to JB. There's a new player in the bidding, and it's not just the Magic Group. There's a guy, the billionaire from Canada. What's his name? Apostolopoulos. I think that's how you say his name. When you see other countries,
the Greek fella,
the Greek dude, exactly, like when the Greek freak, except for when it comes to money. But when you see bids coming in from other countries, there's another bid that came in from Germany as well, another group. When you start to see other countries coming in, you start to realize that city, you start to realize that city that's up for sale is one of the major players in America, and there is no major player in America outside of New York than Washington, D.C., home of the Capitol. So I think that's another big play when you're talking about the Washington Commanders. It is Washington, D.C.
Whoever owns the new Washington team will be tearing down FedEx Field and building a new stadium.
Isn't it, you mentioned Bezos, $7 billion, whatever.
Yeah.
I think the NFL really wants this to go through. For Roger Goodell, for the NFL owners to be associated with Magic Johnson, it brings a lot of positive light to their group. And we talk about minority coaches. Yep. What about minority ownership? Even if he's not the majority owner, he will be
minority owner.
The face of that franchise, Magic Johnson. And anytime you can associate yourself with Magic Johnson, that's a win for you. That's a win for your league. That's a win for everybody.
Yeah, it's essentially like you said back in the day with Jackie Robinson. It's like, look, there were baseball players that were better than Jackie Robinson, but Jackie Robinson was the right one for the job. There are people that are way richer than Magic Johnson, that like brothers that got money. Magic Johnson is the right guy for the job because he understands his business. He's been in this business for the better part of.
Who don't love him?
Say less.
Yep.
Say less.
I will say this. I just finished watching the Reggie Jackson documentary on Amazon.
What a jerk.
I love Reggie Jackson. I never met him. I loved him as a player.
That's why you love him.
He was one of my heroes as a baseball player. He was second to none when he was playing. But the thing that's haunted him since the end of his playing career is he wanted a chance to own a piece of a baseball team. And he has been poo-pooed throughout. Bud Selig said, hey, I got you. Don't worry about it. I got you. Wink, wink. And they wound up selling it to Rupert Murdoch, the team, the Oakland A's, when they were up for sale.
Rupert Murdoch owned the Oakland A's?
The Dodgers.
Rupert Murdoch owned the Dodgers?
Yes. Rupert Murdoch got the team.
I had no idea about that.
It was supposed to go to Reggie Jackson and his people. Instead, the last minute, like Reggie says, they didn't want me. They don't want me. We don't want my skin owning a team. Baseball is still literally in the dark ages.
Yeah, that's 100% true. 1,000%. We know that to be true about baseball, but two, nobody like Reggie. Like nobody absolutely like, and a lot of that is too. It's off of media perception as well. Same thing what happened with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They didn't like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar until he was an airplane. And then Magic loosened him up a little. And then they started to like him. He smiled a little bit more. But with Reggie, he was a hard player at a hard time in his country. And so a lot of that too. But he was mean too.
Damn. All right, so let's move on. More around the NFL. A guy that we knew here in Detroit, Martin Mayhew. He's the general manager of the Washington Commanders, or he is at least right now. And he has said, we have never been involved in the Lamar Jackson trade talks, nor are we interested in acquiring him. We want to go with Sam Howell and Jacoby Brissett.
He won't be the general manager for much longer.
Are you kidding?
And didn't Damian Woody and Booger McFarland
get into
go at
it?
it on that?
Yeah, everybody.
We got that stuff
Everybody's
too.
been getting into it.
Booger says, not easy to give up 2 1s and $200 million. Damian Woody says, stop, Boog. Then Booger says, just keeping it real, man. He's been available for 2 weeks and 0 offer sheets submitted. Damian Woody, not one phone call to that man? You don't think that's very odd, Boog? Come on now. And they went back and forth for a while on this.
Yeah, because Damian Woody is obviously talking about the point of collusion, kind of like what I was talking about. But I more so we're talking about from the standpoint of the owners wanting to be the one to dictate the prices. The owner want to be the ones, can't let the players, no, this is what I'm going to be worth. This is what I'm going to sign for. So more so that. Damian's alluding to more so the other thing as well as the color as well. But yeah, it's a tough back and forth. I just wish we didn't get here. Can we go on a time machine and can we go back 3 years or 4 years now to when Lamar Jackson wins the MVP and the Baltimore Ravens, they were responsible general managers and responsible front office and responsible owners do. Steve Bisciotti, I understand that you won with Trent Dilfer. I understand that you won with Joe Flacco. This is a different day and age, and he was a different quarterback. No other team. See, this is the problem. it wasn't a Deshaun Watson deal that messed the situation up. We just keep giving that the excuse. We don't put the emphasis where it really should be. It shouldn't have gotten to the point where Kyler Murray and Deshaun Watson signed those monster deals. He should have already been signed. He should have already been under contract because Josh Allen was under contract after he balled out after 3 years. Patrick Mahomes is under contract after he bought. That's the smart thing you do nowadays. And so you don't get to this point where other decisions now make you make a decision and make you look stupid. The Baltimore Ravens should have ripped his contract up. You see what Howie Roseman and Philly said. They're like, no, that's number one priority. We're getting Jalen Hurts paid now. You know why? Because they don't want to deal with a situation where they try to wait, they try to take the bargain and see how we can cut some corners, cut some costs. And now Jalen Hurts wins 2 Super Bowls, and now you're like, SHIT. Now we got to pay him even more.
You're not wrong on that, but the Baltimore Ravens took advantage of Lamar Jackson in the situation.
No agent, 100%.
He had Drew Rosenhaus. This is done.
Right.
You're right. It starts with no agent.
Yeah.
Then it gets to,
and then they take advantage of it.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm not going to negotiate against myself.
Yeah,
not in any business for any reason.
So. Robert Kraft in the news for Lamar Jackson. Robert Kraft is friends with Meek Mill.
He is.
I love that.
He said Meek Mill had talked to Lamar Jackson, and Lamar said, hey, go tell Kraft I want to come to New England.
What I love about this, and
he said it's up to Bill Belichick.
I've been talking for like the last hour. I'm letting somebody else talk. But
you're good. You're on fire.
What I love about this is
I don't get paid by the word.
This is true. What I love about this is Bill Belichick. This shows you him and me have a real good like a friendship. I think a lot of people when they saw Meek Mills and Robert Kraft and the Super Bowl and the things we won't have to talk about, like I think people thought it was a publicity stunt. They really be kicking it. I think I like that. I used to be for effect. Chad Graff, Robert Kraft said, you already read this. Like at the end of the day, this is interesting because you talk about Robert Kraft. We talk about the position that the team is in right now with Bill Belichick. Talk about the things that are going on Bill Belichick, the decisions that he's making. He's not making his team any better. It looks like he's going downward year after year in terms of players that are leaving, players he's bringing in, decisions being made. This is a real thing because now you got a situation where Robert Kraft may have to step in. And because, Robert Kraft has been very supportive of Bill Belichick out in the open. He supports him. He hasn't come in and said anything negative. But now he said last year they tried some things, and this is what Robert Kraft said. Tried some things last year. It didn't work. We got to make the playoffs this year. This is what he said at the coaches' conference. So, I mean, Bill, don't put it in Robert Kraft's hands because he will fire you. You will get fired. That's true.
Meek Mill. Yep, we are going to take a break. Actually, I lost the clock there for a minute. Good job, Maz.
All right.
Lost the clock there. We will come back. What do you want to do next?
More football.
More football.
I got more.
You do?
Yeah.
All right, very good.
Where are you today?
Yeah,
I lost it. Lentz just texted me. He said, what do you want to do for YouTube? So I was
I'm glad you're talking about the end of the show while we're in the middle of the show.
At least he's still here, though.
That's good.
At least he's still with the show.
You have to go to the bathroom?
No, not yet.
Okay.
But first a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts. Have been for over 90 years. When you see this black and yellow sign out in front of your house, tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, customized solutions from real experts, 24/7 professional monitoring, and technology backed by people. Call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
That number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today. Let them know Woodward Sports sent you.
Gotcha.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in Downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Hey, Seafood Fest is back, and catch it while you can at Big Boy. You know the scoop. Some favorites during Lent, like the shrimp Alfredo, the shrimp stir fry, and the new fish sandwich. And, of course, Friday nights mean It's the all-you-can-eat fish fry buffet. Only at your local Big Boy.
How about it? No doubt about it. Guys, lots of football talk today. If you want to go back, we did talk about the Detroit Lions earlier today. Dan Campbell pretty much saying we are out on Lamar Jackson. We are in on potentially securing the services of Calais Campbell. That's something that they are going to look into. Mike Tannenbaum has Hendon Hooker going at number 5 to the Seattle Seahawks. Jalen Carter sliding all the way down to the Lions at 18. That is all in our number 1 of the program. Guys, we'll go back to the NFL now. Lots of news and notes. More from Maz.
Let's go. How about John Lynch, the 49ers general manager? They asked him about his quarterback situation. And as we know, it's kind of messy. I mean, just a few years ago, they traded 3 number 1 draft picks. Wow. 3 to draft a kid that has only seen the field for a couple of games.
Wow, here's the quote. I think Brock Purdy has earned the right with the way he played that he's probably the leader in the clubhouse at that.
And he has a bad elbow.
If we were to line up, he'd probably take that first snap. Brock Purdy, the number 1 quarterback in San Francisco. What a disaster. I mean, that is why I think people don't want to take a quarterback that high in the draft.
But they reached.
Again, the Jets reached with Zach Wilson.
Not as much as the Niners did.
The Niners reached with Trey Lance.
Not as much as the Niners did.
Yeah, people get scared. I mean, you look at the situation where, it's different situations though. Like, Trey Lance, like, shoot, we can't even get any footage on Trey Lance. We're like scraping from the barrel trying to find out some footage and see what this guy was. He only played 8 games or something crazy like that, and it was North Dakota State. But it's like, oh well, it's North Dakota State. Carson Wentz here and blah blah blah. So this was doomed from the start with the situation, and it just sucks for them. The only reason I don't feel bad for them is because they're still in the NFC Championship last year.
Yeah.
They still were in the NFC Championship the year before that. They were in the Super Bowl 4 years ago. So they've still done a good job enough around it at every other position except the quarterback position. And, it sucks for Trey Lance, but I understand where John Lynch is coming from. I mean, you looked at what they look like with him as a rookie. He's going to only get better. Like, he's going to only get better as a rookie. He deserves to be the starting quarterback, and that's how I would approach it.
But he's out this year, and I mean, Sam Darnold is your quarterback, right? Don't they have Sam Darnold?
The Niners?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just picked up Sam Darnold, but how long is he out for?
The year. He's done.
Brock Purdy or Trey Lance?
Brock Purdy is out for the year.
Look, Sam Darnold, if you look at how the 49ers are conscribed, or how they're constructed, defense is going to be fine. They just actually got better. Imagine that. They just got better by picking up Hargrave. Offense, CMC is still in place. Ayuk is still in place. Kittle's still in place. Trent Williams is still in place. Debo is still in place. Sam Darnold is a good enough quarterback to work on that offense. He's a little bit more mobile than people think. He's got a better arm than Brock Purdy had last year. And he's in a situation, he's not trying to lose games because he knows how that feels for the better part of 5 years with the Jets and the Carolina Panthers. He loves to be in this situation. I think they're good enough to do 1 year with Sam Darnold and then bring Brock Purdy back next year. I agree with it.
All right. Guess what happened today in 1984? 1984. It's NFL related.
Okay.
And it's the off season.
Okay.
And it kind of involves
free draft?
No, it kind of involves
USFL?
Well,
does it have to do with a Mayflower?
It does.
Oh, somebody left with situations.
The Baltimore Colts.
There you go.
Packed up.
Who the hell is Mel Kiper?
Packed up their truck, the Mayflower moving truck, at night, and moved on over to Indianapolis.
That is incredible.
That's funny.
That is why, by the way, Mel Kiper hates the Indianapolis Colts organization.
That was his team.
Because he was Baltimore. He was a fan of the Baltimore Colts.
Yep.
And they left for Indianapolis. So
that's right. He is Baltimore.
If you remember, it's the Colts GM at the time saying, who the hell is Mel Kiper? Because Kiper was
Bill Tobin.
Yep, was going nuts.
And you know who the owner of the Colts was? Robert Irsay. Of course, now it's Jim Irsay.
Jim Irsay. Wow.
Now, just to tell you a little scoop on Robert Irsay, here's a little
Drew Lane's buddy, Jim Irsay.
A little NFL stuff for you from back in the day.
Yeah.
The Los Angeles Rams were owned by Robert Irsay. The Baltimore Colts were owned by Carroll Rosenblum. They decided one day, hey, let's just trade franchises. They did. Carol Rosenblum became the owner of the Rams, and Bob Irsay became the owner of the Colts.
1980s, you could do whatever the hell you wanted to do.
Back in the day, this guy, Carol Rosenblum, married a showgirl by the name of Georgia Frontiere.
Get out of here.
Do you remember Georgia Frontiere?
Yes, I do.
Now, they go out on a yacht for a little ride, and Robert Irsay was deathly afraid. Excuse me, Carol Rosenblum was deathly afraid of the water. But he decided to go out for a swim one day and never came back.
And so she inherited the team?
She inherited the team.
A showgirl?
Out of here.
Georgia Frontiere. And, of course, they won the Super Bowl with the greatest show on turf, if you remember.
Yes, I remember.
It was Georgia Frontiere.
Holy smokes and
That
jeans.
used to be Irsay's team. So that's a little Maz trivia back from the 60s.
That was
they
good.
Literally switched franchises.
That was good.
You could do what you wanted back in the day. Now
Isn't that
there's
something?
like...
That's crazy.
Let's just switch franchises.
Yeah, you could just do whatever you wanted to do.
So the Colts carpetbag Baltimore.
That's funny.
I never in a million
That's what the Patriots
years
are doing with the Raiders.
I never thought the Colts would be ever left Baltimore. Ever. A great NFL town. And then what happened a decade later? The freaking Cleveland Browns leave Cleveland.
You know, that's incredible. Just even when I got my internship at Fox 2, it was
That's
like,
great, yeah.
it was like, okay, come on in.
Oh,
There's no wasn't like paperwork or computer applications
Like,
or anything like
Are
that.
you getting credit for this?
No, come on in. Now I couldn't do a thing. You could go through.
You got a
this,
45-minute questionnaire on your phone before you even get to the office.
Exactly. Just not how it's done anymore.
How about to go to an airport?
Yeah,
Just walk through an airport.
Well, that's
buy
a little bit
ticket at the
different
gate.
story.
Oh, yeah, that was 9/11.
Yeah, interesting, man. Hey, what about those Bills new Red Rings?
They got a new stadium coming up, and guess what? It's going to be an outdoor stadium.
Oh, yeah.
I think, first of all, I love outdoor stadiums. I love them. But come on.
They're not smart. It should be a
That's
retractable
not
roof.
smart.
No,
and
it's
this is
not
what it's
smart.
going to look like. Little renderings, little updated renderings of the new Buffalo Bills Stadium, which is going to be open in less than 2 years.
Yeah,
This is
it's not
idiotic.
smart.
This is idiotic. And the reason why this is idiotic is because
it's in
your
Buffalo.
Well, yeah, but now your football team is good. Your football team is gonna host home games. When you host a home game in the in the playoffs, you know why you want to host home games? For freaking home field advantage. If both of you guys are playing in a freaking a blizzard, nobody has a home field advantage. I thought they would have learned that last year, but they didn't with the Miami Dolphins. If you're not building retractable roofs in 2023, what are you really doing? You gotta have that option.
Dumb question. If you get
I was mad at MetLife.
If you get a new stadium, that is a lock to get a Super Bowl. Are you getting? I understand at MetLife in New York.
Yeah.
But are you getting a Super Bowl in Buffalo at an outdoor stadium?
No.
I don't think so.
You're not.
I don't think so either.
It's impossible.
This would be the first time I think you would have a new stadium not get a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't.
It's crazy. Put a dome on it.
No,
and even for the city of Buffalo
Listen,
to not
I wish we
require,
had a retractable dome.
If
we
they-
have good
if-
weather
if they-
until January.
You talk about the uses of that stadium. You can't use it for 8 months out of the year without a roof. I mean,
Yeah,
you're
no,
building a $1.4 billion stadium that you can't use?
Yeah, I mean, I guess stadiums cost more nowadays, so they're like 1.4.
That's why you put a roof on it so you can fill it up every night.
It's just true.
You know,
Yeah,
concerts.
I mean, I don't like the city of Buffalo, so it's not like a draw.
Right.
I mean it like that. It's not a draw in terms of, oh, let's go to Buffalo. Let's go see this concert over here. No, it's not like that. So if you're not going to do that as well, you might be right about that. It might be because, by the way, the stadium is like 40 minutes from downtown.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
The stadium's like 40 minutes from downtown. It's like a drive.
It's in the backwoods.
It's kind of like Green Bay Drive, like going through that, but theirs is a nicer drive.
It used to be like where Foxborough was back in the day, where the old stadium used to be.
So it's kind of like that drive when you're going from downtown Boston to go to Foxborough, to go to Gillette Stadium. It's kind of like that with Buffalo, but it's far. It's out there.
You know what, right? They probably wouldn't have got a Super Bowl anyway.
No, it's out there.
Yeah, they might not have the hotel space.
They don't have it.
They might not
but
have the hotel space.
I'm so happy they have a team.
At the same time, it would be, I can't tell you the last new stadium that did not get a Super Bowl. Can't tell you one.
Yeah, Legion is what, this year coming up? So far,
Minnesota had
last
one,
year,
Detroit
Minnesota,
had one.
Atlanta Mercedes.
New Orleans.
But isn't it great that a town like Buffalo has an NFL team and they kept it there? They have their fans are really
great
phenomenal.
fans.
Phenomenal. Crazy,
last one here,
but
Mass.
phenomenal. No. And this one I've had on for a bit. Since the Lions got David
That's
Montgomery.
what I wanted off.
Since the Lions got David Montgomery, who is the new best running back duo in the NFL? And there's your choices.
I think it's the Seattle Seahawks, even though it's got the Eagles logo. It is the Seattle Seahawks. It is the Eagles. Rashad Penny and Kenneth Gainwell. I saw Rashad Penny and Kenneth Walker.
Yeah. No.
Wow.
He skipped town.
DeAndre Swift and David Montgomery.
I think it's the Lions.
I think it's the Lions too. Who's the number 2 in Seattle? Because I think Kenneth Walker's.
If you're going statistical, it's going to be Kamara and Williams. But if you're just going by what you see for this particular year coming up, what do you think? Yeah, Swift and Montgomery.
The Lions, baby.
I mean, Kenneth Gainwell I like. Actually, dang, man, he almost scored that first touchdown of the Super Bowl. That would have been a good situation. But Kenneth
Braylon Adam like plus 900.
Kenneth Gainwell has, but they start featuring him a little bit towards the end of the season. So what he has, they're still trying to see.
I think he's going to probably be the number 1 back.
I think so too. I think he's going to be nice, and I think
Penny can't stay healthy.
I think this would be a good conversation to revisit after the first 4 games of the season.
All right, Ryan, we're going to revisit this.
Yeah. All right, we'll revisit
put it away.
this. All right, guys.
Right now, you got to go with Kamara and Williams.
All right. Back next with more, but first a message from Custom Health Center. My tease game is I got no teases. I don't know which direction you want to go. You got something? You want to go any particular direction?
Custom Health.
How about we go this way? Custom Health Center.
Are you guys doing okay today?
Yeah,
Custom Health.
He doesn't like my teases. I don't know which way where he wants to go.
It has nothing to do with your teases.
You don't like my teases.
No, it's nothing to do with your teases are fine.
Custom Health Center is a customized approach to weight loss. Whether it's 20 pounds or 120 pounds, Custom Health Centers has a customized approach for you. They take the willpower out of weight loss. Give them a call. Try it yourself. Help me lose 20 pounds. Just keep shedding away here. 844-789-THIN. 844-789-THIN. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan.
Join the Pepper Club for all the best deals in town. Plus, they will beat all competitors by $5. ChiliPeppersTanning.com. Hottest bulbs, hottest deals, darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
You can't trust people these days.
Let's talk about Bradley Beal.
Okay,
I'm down.
All right?
I'm down for this.
Did you see the latest on Bradley Beal?
No, what's the latest?
Yes.
Man? Oh, I did see that.
Yeah. He went after some hecklers.
No.
Aha!
He didn't go after the hecklers.
There we go. Defend Bradley Beal now.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm always defend the player against a fan. I am always defending the player.
Tell us what happened.
Did you see Kyrie?
Yeah, I can talk about that too.
Okay. What did he do?
Kyrie had a fan kicked out of the stadium or kicked out of the arena because he was saying the Earth is flat. The Earth is flat.
Jesus!
Kyrie had him kicked out.
Don't believe everything. Don't believe everything.
Little wuss.
No, the difference nowadays is people back in the day, like the level of crap talk was, you effing suck. I can take that all day. But these people nowadays, they're very mean.
Sophisticated.
It's to the point like it makes you turn around because you can't believe
That's
somebody
why-
could go that deep down and they look you in the eye.
That's why you know who can't come back from the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, 100%.
Probably ever.
100%. But even with the Bradley Beal situation, Bradley Beal walks off the court, the team loses, and then some fan says, hey, you lost me a lot of money, and he turns back around. So then they get into it back and forth, and then Bradley Beal flips his hat off his head. Didn't hurt him. TMZ has the video. He flips his hat off his head. The dude then called to the police station and told them that they should press charges and investigate the situation.
Yeah, investigate.
So guess what they're doing right now? They're investigating the situation of Bradley Beal flipping his hat
he
off
hurt
his
my
head.
head.
And this is, well, you saw what happened
He
with
hurt
the
my
situation with Devontae Adams. Here's the interesting thing. How long before one of these bettors loses? I'm talking about a real amount.
We can laugh about this.
This is a real deal.
We can
Loses a
laugh
real
about
amount,
this all
and
you
then
want.
and it's outside of one of these players' houses, stalking them until they make a move. Like, this is a real thing, yo. Like, I lost $500,000 on you. Or I lost this. Or I
I've
lost
been waiting for this to happen.
It's gonna happen.
I've been waiting for this to happen, and even if you go back to when you played, Braylon, I mean, I'm
But
sure.
back then it was like under the wraps, so you couldn't get too mad because you're not supposed to be gambling.
But not only that, I'm sure there was a point in your career that somebody was like, I freaking had you on my fantasy team, and you sucked this week and cost me my game.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean,
Absolutely.
it's been a buildup, and now it's just to the point where
I think it's funny because when it was happening then, when it's the fantasy sports angle, the fantasy team angle, players are kind of like, I mean, fans are kind of, how they approach you, they're laughing about it, but at the same time they're mad too. But it's fantasy sports. You're talking about betting. You're talking about like I thought this was a good bet. I bet 5,000 on it. I bet money I don't have. I blah blah blah, and it wrecked this and it did this for me, and my wife left me, and blah blah blah. Like, I mean, I hope your wife don't leave you with 5,000, but I'm just saying that this is a real thing. Situation's gonna happen, man. It just is what it is. It just is what it is.
Well, what are you gonna do?
You're nothing.
You just gotta keep your tongue to yourself.
You talking about the bettor or the player?
No, the player.
Yeah, you have to take it.
You gotta look through them.
Your leagues have put you in this in that situation. The fans have not put you in this situation. Your leagues, your teams, your franchises who are putting casinos in the arena.
Yeah.
In the arena. You can go do that now.
I understand that, and what happens with fans, much like yourselves, is you forget the human element. Like when you're sitting in a situation and it's like, oh, just tell him that. Look, if you're a human too. You walk off the court. I'm with my daughter and I'm playing daddy dad. I'm taking pictures after the game, and I got some fan saying some outlandish stuff directly behind me at 5 feet. My daughter's right here. My family's right here. I'm still a man at the end of the day. So a lot of times in those situations, it's still the human element comes out.
No, I don't disagree.
I'm not saying you're right to do so.
And I'm not disagreeing with you either. I'm just saying it's like a huge, broader.
You should always see the bigger picture.
Look how close NBA fans sit. Too close.
Yeah.
If you ask me.
Well,
way too close. But guess what? That's where the owners are making their money.
It's very true.
That's where they're making their money.
It's absolutely the owners.
I mean, there's a club at the Palace. I mean, that Little Caesars Arena. You go to a Pistons game.
Sit on a
it's
couch
like walking
and watch
to a club.
game.
Yeah.
When I was in Cleveland, I'm talking about when LeBron was playing, I only spent the first quarter like watching LeBron and whoever they were playing. The rest of the last 2 quarters and a half, I was at the club, like inside the Key Arena. I wasn't watching LeBron and them play. It's the club, man. It's the club.
It's the club, man. What are you doing tonight, Bray? Anything?
Probably stop by Max's house.
It's always Max's house.
Well, because Max.
You don't ever have to ask him.
People who
He's
Max
going
is.
to Max's house.
Max is one of my best friends. He lives 8 minutes from here, right down Woodward. So we go over there, we engage, little smoke.
Max's house. And don't ever ask him what he's doing.
And we watch sports.
Go like this. Hey, Bray, what are you doing after Max's house today? That's what you ask him. You don't ask him what he's doing.
Look, man, we go in there, we watch some of these podcasts, we watch sports, catch up, kick it, a little smoky, go to the crib, play with my nephew.
Hey, how's Jimmy Valou doing? How's Jimmy V? Have you gone to visit him?
Of course. He's been better, man. He's
we miss Jimmy V.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
his former boss was a real piece of work, man.
Oh,
man.
Yeah.
Maz, what are you doing tonight?
Well, here's what I'm doing. After this, I'm going to Maddie's game. She's got soccer at Bishop Foley. Big game.
Big game.
Big game. Big soccer game.
Outside.
John and then after that, back home.
John R. Stevenson.
Back home. Kathy is back home. So Maddie and my run is over.
Uh-oh.
I mean, we've been watching Breaking Bad 2-3 at a time.
Oh, man.
And now Kathy's back. It's all over.
Is there anything better than that?
No, there's nothing better. I had such a great 5 days with my little Maddie.
That's awesome.
It's been awesome.
She'll remember that time for the rest of her life.
I hope so.
You know what I love is that like she was like angrier that mom was home than Mass was. Like with mom, he was like,
you know what she always tells me? What time today? She said, "What time is mom coming home?" I'm like around 2:00. She's like this. Oh,
she's the buzzkill of the house.
She was hoping the caddy would be home, late at night. She didn't realize that she was coming home this afternoon. It is all over.
Oh, man.
Does Kathy watch the show?
No.
Thank God. I'm getting scared too. Sorry,
man.
Kathy. It was
Very
these guys.
good.
Maddie, we'll do something. Don't worry, honey.
All right, gang. That's it for us. Bray, get us out of here.
Another great
show.
Got to
get the maxes.
Another fun time hanging with you guys. Shut up, man.
I got to get the ninjas tonight.
This is true. There you go.
I love Ninja Night.
Hey, here you go. You know what's funny? We talked about it yesterday with Rashad Phillips. Appreciate him coming on again. But we talked about Magic Johnson Round Ball Classic was number 2 to what? McDowell's All-American Game. It comes on tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Look, the NCAA tournament may not be worth a damn, but the All-American Game, McDonald's will always be dope. Check
I like
that
how he
out.
says McDonald's.
Philip C. says,
How do you say McDonald's?
McDonald's.
And Philip C. says, good show. Go smoke, Bray.
Hey, look, man, it's legal.
Hey,
you know
man,
what time it is.
It's legal.
You know what time
I love
it is.
you, man.
Say the kid you smoke. All right, brother. Get out of here, man. Enough romancing for the day.
Ryan, after Ninjas tonight, it's a big boy.
Oh yeah.
Big boy for Lukey.
Oh,
All right.
There it is.
Oh, for daddy.
See you guys.
We'll see you guys later.
Big Jim.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.